Yo, what's up, everybody? Crazy Al Kane, sugarcane.com, CACTV, back again with a new video. This time I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna actually do a race recap from my last race, okay? A little POV, play-by-play recap of my last race, which was at Kingston Point BMX, upstate New York. Before we get into the video, I want to give you guys a breakdown of BMX racing and how the format works. For people who don't know, in BMX racing you have 2 qualifying rounds. Sometimes you have 3, but for the most part we have 2 qualifying rounds of motos, where you have to qualify those motos to make it to your main race, which is your final race. Depending on how many people you have in your moto, you may have semi-finals, you may have quarterfinals, you may have eighths, depending on how many people you have. But all of this is to work you down to get to your main race. For this particular race, which is a Gold Cup race, we are doing the transfer system. And the transfer system is you have to qualify in your moto to transfer to your main. So if you wind up in the top 2 or 3 positions in the first moto, you transfer automatically to your main race and you don't have to race the second moto. The rest of the guys in the group have to race the second round of motos to battle it out to see who's going to make it to qualify to the main event too. So in my moto we had 5 guys racing in total. So in this moto I had Rolando Limjoco, aka Andy the Monster Limjoco. You've seen him on a bunch of previous episodes of BMX Racing Over 40. Also we have Mike Duke, who you've seen in previous episodes of BMX Racing Over 40. There's also Bobby Beard and Bill White who competed, and of course I was in it as well. So there was 5 guys in total racing in this race. So the first moto, they're taking the first and second rider to make it to the main event. So the first 2 riders qualify for the main event, and then the second round of motos, the first 2 riders make it to the main event. So you have 4 guys who are going to race the main event in this race. Alright, so I'm on the gate. So the bike that I'm using for this race is that Naughty by Nature Sugarcane collaboration bike that I built up for Vin Rock. We call it the Sugarcane by Nature. This is a prototype 24-inch cruiser, and the class that I'm racing is the cruiser class. So cruiser class technically is any bike that has a wheel size that's 22.5 and above. Okay, so most people ride 24-inch bikes in cruiser class, but you can also race all the other sizes like a 26-inch, 27.5, 29-inch. If you got a 36er, hey, I don't know if you want to race with that, but it's open season in cruiser class. So you can race, a lot of guys race dirt jumpers in cruiser class. So you see a lot of guys on those 26-inch dirt jumpers racing on them. You also have your regular class, which would be the 20-inch bikes. So class is 20-inch bikes, and cruiser class is anything 22.5 and above. All right, so let's get at it. So let's talk about this race right here. So first of all, my gate starts are pretty bad. So I came out the gate a little slow. As you will see when the gate drops, is the cadence going right now. Alright, I'm coming out the gate and you can already see Andy is out. He already is out at the first jump. He was already out. He actually changed his front chain ring to a smaller size so he can get out the gate faster. So I actually, if you watch the 40 and over episode, I saw Andy in the pits, and he was actually in the middle of changing his sprocket to make it so he can come out the gate faster, because it's pretty short distance between the starting hill and that first jump, and you really got to be on the gas to get in front of people to get an advantage. So he did a smart move and changed his sprocket, went down a gear so he can go out faster and be ahead of everybody, because it's a tight track, not too many places to pass, and you know you're in and out pretty fast on this track. I was making this mistake all weekend. Between this part right here, I was pumping instead of pedaling. Most people, when they got over this roller right here, they started pedaling right away. But for some reason, I don't know what I was thinking, I was trying to get a super pump out of this when I should have been pedaling. So as you see, when he goes down this hill that he's going to pedal, I'm sitting here steady pumping. So he's pulling ahead of me right away. So when we get to this part right here, you can see Mike Duke's tire. Actually, you can't. It's behind my head. But you can see Mike Duke coming in on the inside. I left myself wide open on the left. I stayed more in the middle when I should have been moving over behind Andy, but I left the door wide open for Mike Duke to come in and get the swoop underneath me. You can also see Bobby right there too. I left the door open for him too. So everybody came in the house. They all in the house right now. So you got Bobby in front of me. He moves over to the left a little bit, and I try and ride the line and try and get the swoop on these guys because I had some momentum going, and I'm trying to make some moves and get ahead. So I get down this straight right here. I get my pump on, and I wind up passing by Bobby, and I'm catching up to Mike right now. So since I'm so tight in this turn, I'm naturally going to go up the turn and then turn into it instead of taking it low. I need to get some juice off the turn to try and catch those guys. And in doing that, I'll be closing the door on Bobby because he's going to be on the left side of me behind me. So when I come up, he's going to be blocked in by me coming up high in the turn. So you'll see that coming here. So right when I get there, I'm pretty much closing the door on Bobby right now. So he's out the house now. Bobby is out the house right now. So I need to catch up to these guys. And I start picking up some speed right here. But since Andy is right in front of me, there's nowhere for me to really go. So I kind of have to shut it down or else I'm going to run into him. So I had to throw the brakes on a little bit. And I saw an opening right here. So I said, let me try and ride this line and hope those guys don't move over on me. So I just took it and started going through there. And you can see we're pumping going through this turn right here. If I go into this turn, I can go straight up and cut one of these guys off, but I don't really play games like that. So I'm going to have to keep it kind of low depending on where these guys are going to be positioned at. So the lower I go, the less pump, the less momentum I can keep going out of the turn. So it's going to slow me down completely if I take it too low. So I really want to kind of ride this line right here and stay in the middle so I can come around this turn and have some speed coming out of it. Another tricky thing is right here on this part of the triple, it just drops straight off. It's like there's no like smooth, it's not a really laid back landing. It's very, very steep. It's almost like trail style deep. So you have to really push down in order to get your front tire down. So it's pretty tricky going through here, and this is very peaky. It's not like a roller. So I wind up hitting that when I come through. You can see me pop right up. You can see my front tire hit it, boop, just like that. But I'm in a really good position right now. See, Mike is all the way to the right. I'm right behind Andy. So all I have to do really is just kind of either follow Andy or I can come around this turn. If he comes in front of me, I can come up and close the door on Mike. So I come up. I'm right next to Mike right here. He's right next to me. So I stay low. I don't want to knock him off the berm and cut him off and stuff like that. I don't get down like that. There's riders who do get down like that you have to be careful of, but I don't get down like that. So I stayed low, but that actually slows me down because I'm so low in the berm, I'm not going to get momentum coming out of the berm. So Mike is right next to me, and he's on the higher side of the berm. So when he comes out of that berm, he's going to come down from here and have all of this juice coming at him. He's going to be getting all this momentum juice right here to take him into this straightaway. I have to crank it out in order to get my speed up to par. So once we got out of this turn, I'm cranking like crazy. I got a good pump. I'm in second place. And you can kind of see Mike's shadow next to me, but he has the momentum advantage and actually winds up passing the line before I do. So he gets to second place. I don't get the transfer. I have to race the next moto and try and make first place, second place in order to make it to the main. So the next moto, it's do or die. I have to make it or else that's a wrap. So let's see what happens in the next race. I wound up having gate 4 and the other guys were in 7 and 8. So I have an advantage right now being on the inside. I have nobody around me, nobody to cut me off or anything. All I got to do is come out the gate and pedal as fast as I can and get to the first turn first. That's all I got to do. Once I do that, then I just need to be out. So I come out the gate. And I'm just going, man. I'm trying to get out of there. I'm trying to leave these guys. I'm in the track all by myself up there. You can hear the gatekeepers and Damaged Inc. team cheering me on. Big shout out to them. And I'm just trying to stay in the front, man. This race, I did good in this race. Those guys are right on me, though, so you can't let up. Even if you're in first place, don't let up off the gas because you never know who's behind you or who's close by that can pass you at the end of the race. So I just kept the heat going all the way to the end and wound up getting the first place in that round. So that's what's up. All right, so now I made it to the main event. I transferred out of the motos and made it to the main event. So we got 4 guys. It's me, Andy, Mike, and Bobby Beard racing. I'm on gate 7, so I'm on the outside again, which is not an advantage for me because I'm slow out of the gate and I usually don't move over on people. I try and beat people to the first turn, but I really don't move over that much. It's a strategy I don't really take advantage of, so I gotta start taking advantage of that, especially now since I'm talking about it. If you race me, you're like, oh, Al's not gonna move over now, so I gotta take advantage of that now. So be on the lookout. All right, so it's time for the main event. Gate number 7. Let's see how I come out the gate this time. All right, so I got a better gate start this time. You can see Andy, I'm a little closer to Andy now than before, so I got a pretty decent gate start. We're pretty close to him, but he's pulling ahead of me. And I wind up doing the same thing again. I wind up pumping this line right here instead of pedaling. So Andy is pulling ahead right now. And then also Mike is up in there. You know Mike is quick, man. Mike got some quick legs. He come out the gate screaming. So you got to watch out for Mike, because Mike is he's a fast dude, man. He's real quick on the bike. So I'm basically in the same position that I am as I was in the first round of motos. But this time I'm staying in third. But you can see Bobby in the back though. Bobby was right behind me. You can see his shadow. You can see Bobby's right behind me on the turn. So I have to keep that door closed on him. So we continue down this straight right here. I take the same line. I stay on the inside, try and pump. I'm catching up to these guys, and I actually jumped the double this time. And right here is where I usually catch up to these guys. So it's the same thing as before. I catch up to them, but they're in the way, so I have to shut it down. And what I should have done is I should have moved over on the right side to try and keep my momentum going. I probably would have passed Mike on this straightaway right here. So I wound up taking the same line as before. I got a little bit of a pump. I'm catching up to them guys a little bit, but just like last time, I'm in the same position that I was before. I think I probably should have followed them. That way I could set them up for the last straight. So that was the one mistake I made. I stayed on the inside because I was trying to catch some momentum and maybe come underneath the guys. But you know, going underneath, it's going to slow me down on this berm. So I should have probably stayed behind these guys and set it up so when I come off of this berm, I can dip down tighter and then have some pump to pick up some speed and catch up and maybe pass one of the guys. But I stayed low again. And that time I didn't hit the last roller on that triple. But I have to stay really low because Mike is going low. So I'm going to have to go lower because I'm behind him. And if I go up too high, I can wind up hitting his back tire and falling over. So I stay real low. But you can see I almost caught him there. But I got to stay real low and pretty much just shut it down from here. So from here on out, you can hear me grunting because I knew I messed up there and was too close to them. So I'm totally out the race right there because I have no way to catch up to them with the momentum I had. And I came in third place. So that was my Gold Cup at Kingston Point BMX Gold Cup qualifier. I got third place, podium position. Lots of little errors that I made, but it was cool because I was trying to get that action from behind anyway, so it worked out really good. So you can kind of see some footage. So I'll be doing more of these style videos where I take some POV action and kind of give you guys the play-by-play of what happened during those races, to give you some insight on what goes on the track. Let me know if you want to see some more of these, what you think about the video. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, all that good stuff that people talk about at the end of these videos. But what I really want y'all to do is I want y'all to check out the Sugarcane store where I have t-shirts, I got the Sugarcane frames, I got hats, coffee mugs, all that good stuff. Definitely show your support and purchase some stuff from there because all that stuff helps me to continue to do content like this, all the trail footage, all of the trail digging, all these type of episodes, the 40 and over BMX racing series, all that stuff. All your support helps me continue to produce this type of content for you. So definitely check that out, alright? So this is Crazy Al Kane, sugarcane.com. This is my bike race recap. Enough watching people racing, enough talking about people racing. I need y'all to go out there and race, alright? This is Crazy Al Kane, sugarcane.com, CACTV, and I'm out. Back to you, Billy!
Nice one.